Testing. Okay, so there's going to be a little bit of delay from whenever I type or whenever I say anything or do anything. So whenever you send me any chat, I'm gonna miss out on it for about 30 seconds or so before I can reply to it. Okay, so the biggest thing I see here is, let me find a good brush. First off, when you're doing your forms, just do your basic cylinders. Got one cylinder there, got one cylinder there, and make your elbow. So you can visualize the three-dimensional shape. And since this is at an angle, it's foreshortened. So there's a lot of overlap. So if we have the upper edge of the arm out here, we have a lot of arm coming underneath here. And one of the things about the biceps is it cheats to the inside of the arm the lower it goes. So you have your bicep up here, and we want to take that bicep down here, especially with the biceps brachii, which is underneath, and then it connects into the radii. Wish I'd done that in another layer. Okay. So first off, just get your general forms. Figure out your deltoid. Jen pointed out that it looks like you have a front and a side. Or actually, she said it didn't look like you have your front. This looks like the front to me. Like the clavicle would be up here, and so the front of the deltoid would be there. Then you'd have the lateral deltoid, and then the posterior deltoid would be hiding back there. So you'd end up with 3 segments to your deltoid. That's what it looks like you're trying to do to me, or that's what it looks like to me that you're trying to do. Then the bicep would come down, totally down there. Let me know if you think if you were trying to do something different. Okay. This looks like the brachii radialis here, and then this one looks like the minor brachii radialis, the one that with the forward words for the name. What you need to do is figure out the bone in perspective. Okay, so that's what I really want to try to help you with. So I'm going to come down here. Oops. Okay, let's do the bones first. So we have the humerus, and it has the ball joint at the top, and then it comes out, and it comes down, and the biggest thing it does, and we're keeping this on this axis here like this. So the biggest thing it does is it flanges out. So in perspective, it flanges out, whereas if it was just perfectly straight, it'd come down here. But then at the very end, it forms a little bit of a triangle and it gets wider. And it has an edge. And then the biggest thing is it has the groove, and it's ready. And it has a little bit of a ball point on the outside for the radii. The radii starts on the outside of the humerus. And then the next thing that happens is we'll draw, especially because we're focusing on the elbow, we should draw the ulna next. So the ulna is big and bulky on the end of the elbow, since you're drawing this at a 45-degree angle, right? We can sort of make it, and it's sort of got a groove, and then so that it can mount around the humerus, and then it shoots straight out to the pinky, or well, the pinky edge of the wrist, whichever side the pinky's on, that's where it goes. So if we go back over here, and we're going to pretend the thumb's up there, and yeah, you like my fingers? There you go. If for whatever reason we wanted to rotate the hand so that the pinky was up here and then the thumb was down here, let's do the thumb down there. That would be basically rotate it outward, palm, thumb, fingers. So that way now it's the palm of the hand facing us because it's rotating outward and it looks like it's trying to push us away. If we wanted to do that, then we'd have to take the ulna and have it go up here. But it looks to me like that's not even what we're doing. We're doing the ulna on the bottom. And then the other thing that happens with the ulna is it comes to a narrow point. We have a concave curve, comes to a narrow point like that. And the reason why it comes to a narrow point is so that the radii or radialis, it gets nice and thick, and it serves as like the base of the wrist, basically. And then mount for the thumb over here, and a bunch of metacarpals up there. Okay. All right. And then the key thing here is let's do the radii in a different color. So, and then there's the gap in the middle, and the gap in the middle is actually crucial because as it rotates, there's a muscle in there that pulls it together, and that helps with the rotation. So then this comes to a little point that meets the ball on the humerus, and then there's a little bridge to join up with the ulna, and that's about it. Okay. So what I'm seeing here is you have the base of the radii next to the bulb on the humerus. Let's change the color back so for the humerus. Like this is definitely the humerus, but the humerus needs to be an edge that comes all the way down here, and then we can draw the ulna sticking out, and there is a slight point of the humerus on the other side, and that's where some of the muscles are going to mount off of, especially with the extensors along the back side of the arm. So look for that. In perspective, the way you have this wrist, I don't think that's going to work. Because you do have the palm out and you have the thumb over here. This is all the wrong colors for the color coding system we have. The way you're drawing the wrist here is the ulna, or the radii is looking like this, and the ulna is looking like this. And so what happens here is the ulna is going like this, and the radii starts up here, oops, but then it crosses down underneath the or behind the ulna, and this base for your wrist with your fingers curling, whatever. Basically goes like that. And so the key thing there is, if this is the case, then your radialis is probably going to mount closer down here, and then it's actually just going to go right down there because it's hiding underneath. And when your arm rotates like this, the way that you're trying to do it, the flexors on the other side form a big ball underneath because they're flexing really hard to make this happen. And so you get the drumstick on the bottom side. Even though it's in perspective and it's hiding behind there, you still get the edge down there. And then you would get and then the key thing here is these extensors wrap around to the top side, and so then your outline lumps. This is your extensors here, and then your brachii radialis there going into the arm, and then you have your bicep here. Oh, and don't forget your triceps. You have the lateral head out here. This looks like your long head, which is actually kind of behind the humerus. Text me or send me a text right now. Just let me know what you think of that. I'll be sure to send you the file too, Mary. Does it all make sense? Is there anything that seems confusing? Those are the extensors, and they have like all the different names. You're talking about in the top portion, right? Um, these are the. I'm gonna have to go to a different color now. Let's just go to black. You remember when Proco was talking about the bullet shape for the extensors, only it's um, slightly asymmetrical. Well, the bullet shape here has been distorted because of the rotation. If the arm was in a neutral position, the bullet shape would just be right here. But that's with the thumb up this side and the hand going that way. But since that's not what we have, now the bullet shape is wrapping around the arm in perspective. All right, 0. So, point, point, like so. Yeah, that stretches, it stretches to the inside of the elbow. So past the ulna to the other side of where the point of the humerus. Fine, that way. I think on some of the drawings, when we see the arm drawn straight, no, it doesn't, because the elbow is back here. This is the elbow here. I'm actually running into the bathroom to check myself on the mirror too. Yeah, Mary, I'm wrong. These actually come to the. I got the insertion point wrong for the bullet. It starts above the line. Alright, I think that's about it now that I've figured out my mistake that I made there on that. Any other questions? Okay, cool. How late are you drawing, or how late are you going to be drawing? Do you, I suppose I can do it. If we need another one of these, I can do it tomorrow morning. All right, sounds good. I'm gonna end the broadcast now. Glad you can get something out of this, and thanks for coming in and joining us, Ed. Talk to you later.